We're riding down a block of St. Mark's Avenue, headed east, and I'm going to show you one of the premier architectural blocks in Brooklyn. And unfortunately, a lot of the beautiful homes have to look at this yellow asteroid that fell from outer space at Brooklyn Children's Museum. It was somebody's idea of an interesting design in the 1970s. So this is the block I'm talking about, St. Mark's Avenue, where it was one of the premier blocks of Brooklyn, and the housing stock is still here. On the north side of the street. Just to give you an idea, like there's a park here. It used to be, the whole thing was a park, and there were a couple of mansions on the side of the street, and now there's an ordinary public school. This wasn't here originally. Kind of a plain church. Another impressive row of houses. So this really had its heyday in the late 1800s, early 1900s. St. Mark's Avenue, between New York and Kingston Avenues in Crown Heights. This is Brower Park in Crown Heights. And we're just going to take a look at the park and the buildings facing it. Buildings are on the south side of the street. So I think the park used to be all the way through. We're between Brooklyn and Kingston Avenues in Crown Heights. And this definitely captures your attention.
Don't get the one attached to your head. On your head.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. So this was a temple, and now a Jewish temple, and now it's a First Church of God in Christ at Park Place and Kingston Avenue. Another knock your socks off building. Here at Dean and New York Avenue in Crown Heights. This is quite the corner for big churches. What a tower. The Union United Methodist Church. Another Romanesque Revival church over there, the big arches. We'll go across Bergen Street here. So this is where Rogers Avenue starts and goes south. This is looking north at the back of Ulysses S. Grant on his horse. And I'll have to find out what this is or was here at the corner. It looks like an old theater. That must have been something back in its day. south down Rogers. Let's go over to Bedford Avenue as we go across the snow piles here in the corner. This is December 21st. It's the Monday of Christmas week. So here at the northwest corner of Bergen and Bedford, it says it's a temple, the Washington Temple, but I don't think it's a going concern anymore. Might be. So we'll go across here. Here's, they call it Grant Gore. I don't know whether Gore means like a little parklet or what, but it's all about Ulysses S. Grant. It's really a beautiful location. Just sometimes it takes a lot of imagination to sort of imagine what it was like back in the late 1800s when this was a really hot, expensive neighborhood. Presented by the Union League Club of Brooklyn in 1896. And I believe this senior center used to be the Union League Club, where the Republicans would meet in Brooklyn when there were Republicans in New York. Brooklyn was merged with Manhattan and the other boroughs in 1898, so that statue would have been erected while Brooklyn was still its own city. These apartments here on the northeast corner, right, with many different pitches to the roof. And where the brick kind of blends in with the sandstone, brownstone. And then this is an impressive apartment building here on the northwest corner of Dean and Bedford. Alright. Well, look at this one more building up here with the arches and columns. It looks pretty impressive. Let's see. I don't know how you would describe this Italianate, this apartment building with the overhanging eave. So let's see here. It's December 21st, so it's the shortest day of the year, so the sun is very low in the sky. But it makes for good lighting to film things. This is a separate building here where the funeral home is. That's impressive. Looking all the way up to the top with the blocked off arched windows. And then this is an impressive building. So it's Crown Heights is just really a powerhouse architectural neighborhood. That's Romanesque Revival. 2 towers with conical tops. And then diagonally across the corner of Pacific and Bedford here is this armory. Also really impressive, goes down the length of the block. So, all right. Pretty interesting neighborhood. Here in Crown Heights. This building, the Studebaker building, caught my eye. At Bedford Avenue and Sterling Place in Crown Heights. Have to find out more about it. It's apartments now. Let's see if I can get an address. I'm gonna go with 1469 Bedford Avenue. That's Sterling Place in Crown Heights. Wow, what a building. This one is for sale at Sterling Place on Nostrand Avenue in Crown Heights. Talk about wow factor. For sale. We're at Franklin Avenue and Sterling Place in Crown Heights. A lot of different good-looking restaurants here. And what I see in the distance are these two huge domes of a church. So we'll take a look. I might have said Crown Heights. It might be considered Prospect Heights at this point. We're going over the subway tracks. A short little elevated line, the Franklin Shuttle. So those were actually the backs of the towers, the domed towers. Don't want to miss anything here. St. Teresa's School across the street. So this is Classen Avenue. St. Teresa of Avila Roman Catholic Church. You can see it from a long ways away. Here in Prospect Heights, Crown Heights. Actually, like Classen Avenues. Well, it's considered the border between Bed-Stuy and Clintondale, but I don't know about down here south of Atlantic Avenue as we're heading west. And you see it throughout Crown Heights, also Prospect Heights, but there's a lot of new construction going in, residential. I think it's helping strengthen these neighborhoods. And hopefully, like, it took the place of something ordinary, looking like this row here, rather than anything with historic specialness. And this is Washington Avenue. We're definitely in Prospect Heights now. Washington Avenue, when it goes north of Atlantic, it becomes like a premier street of Clinton Hill.